Welcome everybody. My name's Stephen Luby. I'm one of the lecturers in the Film and Television School here, and it's my great pleasure and honour to be your host for this wonderful pitch night in which our graduating cohorts here at VCA will present to you the film projects that they're intending to shoot and which they're inviting all of you to be part of. So welcome to all of you. It's a fantastic vibe, I have to say, as everybody was filing in. And I'm glad you all feel hyped. I've got that sense because tonight I'm pretty hyped as well. I've had the great privilege of hearing all of the pitches that you're about to hear tonight rehearsed. And every story that you're about to hear is engaging, compelling and entertaining. So you're in for a night of storytelling. And as we just heard in the Welcome to Country, storytelling is an activity that's been going on here in this place for time immemorial. And we're just going to add a little bit more colour and texture of that tonight. So that's what tonight is about. It's about storytelling, and it's about yourselves here engaging with the stories presented with a view to becoming involved in the film projects. So I'd like to welcome you all. Tonight we have 4 cohorts who are graduating from VCA Film and Television School this year. So I'll introduce them all to you. They're going to put up their hands so you all know who they are. So we've got the Bachelor of Fine Arts Film and Television 3rd year graduating class. Put your hands up, please. Give them a hand. Fantastic. So we've got the Bachelor of Fine Arts Honours class here tonight. Put up your hands, give them a big... So we've got the Bachelor of Fine Arts Animators here tonight also. Hands up. Wonderful. And we've got the Master of Film and Television 2nd year graduates here tonight as well. Hands up, everybody. Now, all of these students have been working for a very long time to develop their scripts and their projects to present to you tonight. So what you're going to hear is the result of many long months of ideation, script writing work and preparation for production. As I said, it's going to be an exercise in storytelling. Human beings have been gathering around the campfire for stories for time immemorial, as I said a little bit earlier, and that's kind of what we're doing tonight. This auditorium is a campfire and we're gathering around it to hear some stories. So there's just a few procedural things that we need to run through for you this evening. And for that purpose, I'd like to introduce to you my co-host for this evening, Felix Orion. Welcome, Felix. Now, just to give a bit of context, I've been teaching here at VCA for 6 or 7 years, and I've had a different cohort of master's students coming through my class each year. A few years ago, Felix appeared as a student in one of my classes, and I couldn't get a word in edgeways. In fact, I had to set aside a bit of time in the class every week, which I then called Felix time, in which Felix had the floor. Now, fast forward a couple of years, I don't know how this has happened, but Felix is interjecting, not from the back of the classroom as he was then, but he's right up here now taking over. So we'd now like to do a crossfade. My spotlight is going to go down and the light's going to come up on Felix, who's going to run you through some of the procedures for the evening.
Thank you, Luby. That brilliant bio. Hi, everyone. Stephen has been my professional hype man for years. I am really excited to start to hire him out for events. Stephen, thank you so much. And I've always wanted to do my own lighting transition. That's always something I've wanted to test out. So folks, thank you. And thank you for this Felix time. I want to introduce you to the Digital Playbill. So let me introduce you to this. If you haven't snagged it already, it would have gone out with a link that was sent out. This is your ticket to connecting with our filmmakers and animators tonight. It will include all their cast and crewing requirements, as well as a bio on each student and their project. It is a fantastic way to connect. You can access it on your phone. If you haven't got that already, there are QR codes down and around the foyer to scan to bring that up. It's also going to be live after this event is on YouTube. I know. After it's on YouTube, it will be live for a couple weeks, so you can have your kind of contact there. From here, folks, I just want to kick off with a little bit of timing so we can jump straight into the pitches. As you know, our students will be grouped into 2 cohorts this evening, and they're going to be introduced by Luby, who will tell you about the project, the student's name, the genre as well, before giving them their stage, that spotlight. Now, they're going to be timed. They have 2 minutes for this pitch. And students, I know you've rehearsed this. I can feel it. I can see the nerves. So with this 2-minute pitch, if you go beyond that 2 minutes and you hit that 2.5-minute mark, you're going to hear a little bell. It's going to sound something like this. It's a really gentle bell. Now, if you go beyond the 3-minute mark, I don't know, we didn't really rehearse that bit. Probably a slightly more aggressive bell. But we've never had that happen before, and I'm pretty sure it won't happen tonight. Now, as you prepare for a night of inspiring pitches, I really want to welcome back on the stage our illustrious host, Stephen Luby, to introduce you to our talented cohorts. Please make him feel welcome.
Thank you very much, Felix. You've had your time in the spotlight. Just for a second, I've got it back. Fantastic. But my time is about to diminish, and we're about to introduce our students who are going to be presenting their pitches to you. As I said, a lot of work has gone into this on everybody's behalf. They've all prepared really well, and they need your love and support as they come out to pitch their project. So please make every individual feel welcome as they come up. So I'd now like to introduce, without any further ado, our first student pitch from Koko Crozier, who's in the Bachelor of Film and Television, 3rd year. And Koko's got a film project called Mother. Welcome, Koko.
Hello, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm Koko, and I'm really excited to collaborate with a bunch of different people on my project Mother. Mother is a historical drama set in regional Victoria during the 1960s. It centres on a devout nun who faces a profound crisis of faith after falling pregnant and giving birth to an egg. Through her journey, I hope to explore the complexities of faith, maternal love, and the profound sacrifices made in the name of both. But above all, this is really an ode to all mothers, and particularly my mother, and explores the lengths that she would go to protect her children. I'm particularly inspired by the Nightingale and the Wonder, which draw from historical contexts and tell them through a female perspective to create a really visceral and authentic emotional experience. Most of the film's going to be shot on location at a remote and incredibly primitive farmhouse. So I'm super eager to work with a production designer and art department to craft a world that, despite being set in the 1960s, is really not so dissimilar to the late 1800s. I'm also really keen to develop an evocative visual style with a director of photography and camera and lighting team. I envision the cinematography to be intimate and restrained, with an emphasis on natural lighting and earthy colour palettes. So I'm really looking for a team that values close and passionate collaboration. For me as a director, the most important thing is creating an environment that is safe, productive, and most of all, enjoyable for everyone on set. I really want to make sure my team feels really valued and also inspired throughout the process. We'll also be staying on location at a beautiful farm for the duration of the shoot, which I'm sure will offer some a much needed respite from the city and also the chance to fully immerse ourselves in the creative process. So if you want to be involved in the project in any capacity and uncover the mystery of what lies inside the egg, then please reach out. Unfortunately, I won't be here after the talks, but please feel free to email me, and I'd love to arrange a time to meet up and discuss the project further. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Hi everyone, I'm Nadia Syarifah from Masters of Narrative Directing, and my film was called Chick Flick. It's a chick flick. It's a romantic comedy. This story follows a 20-year-old Imani who's delusionally in love with a guy, and she's willing to do anything to impress this guy, right? Classic crush technology. They listen to Radiohead, so you listen to Radiohead. You don't really care about Radiohead, but that's casual. What I'm asking is, how far are you willing to go? Would you be willing to stick around if this person turns out to be something unexpected? Almost sinister, like a fake shaman? Maybe not, but our protagonist, God bless her soul, she does stick around, but also don't worry because her best friend is here to give her a reality check. That's because I want girlhood to be one of the themes of this film, among other things like falling in love and messing up and trying and being vulnerable, just growing up stuff. Visually, we'll have all the chick flick classics, makeover montages, split screens, all that jazz. This story was born because I love rom-coms, but I don't get why they always find something by the end, like a romantic partner or themselves, like, good for you, but sometimes you're just heartbroken, and I think that's fine. I think we should be allowed to feel all of our emotions, including the messy ones. Sometimes you learn, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not. Either way, you're living, and that's what matters. Besides, mistakes are necessary for people to grow, or whatever, right? So this film will also be bilingual in Indonesian and English, because I believe speaking different languages reveal different sides to yourself. Also, representations matter. Trust me, I should know. So, we're shooting 24 to 30 August, and we're still looking for a director of photography, grips, sound recordist / boom operator, and also first AC. So if you're interested, please feel free to contact me or my producer there. And lastly, I just want to say that rom-coms gone wrong are still rom-coms. I've been Nadia, and you've been so great. Thank you.
I can't match that energy, but I'll try. All right, so in Canada, 1947, a couple celebrating their elopement in a countryside cottage invite to their honeymoon a close friend. By the end of the honeymoon, the woman of the couple was found drowned in 9 inches of water, and the cottage where they were staying was burned down. No foul play was established. This is a true story. And it is the detail regarding the third wheel joining in on a couple's honeymoon that inspired my script. For the sake of brevity, this is all I'll speak of the true story. I've taken this true story and transported it to a modern day. I'm interested in people's response to a world of elusive circumstances. Our protagonist is Theo, an indigenous caretaker who becomes involved in the bizarre foreplay of a couple during their honeymoon. Theo is in his late teens, the couple their early 30s. Our dynamic of age becomes evidently clear. This story does not end in a tragic drowning. The story ends in the disappearance of all 3 people from the cottage. I refer to this informally as cosmic drama, but that being said, calling it a mystery would be an easier pill to swallow. Among the calm of a countryside cottage, the complex dynamics of isolation, sophistication, and sex expose the fragility of relationships and the thin line between jest and earnestness. Our couple in this story are cruel and bitter. Theo is courteous and shy. I wish to explore the concept of someone becoming a stranger in their own home. Theo is constantly subject to the couple's disagreements and strange sexual tensions. With the help of others like-minded, I wish to expose the fruitlessness of people convinced of their control over their environment using the abundant allegory of cuckoldry.
Hello? All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Adriel, as I was introduced. So my film isn't like the others tonight. It is an animation production, I guess. And, all right, I guess I should get into what it's about, huh? So everyone's heard of the story of King Arthur and how he pulls the sword from the stone and becomes a great king, etc., but this animation isn't quite that. Enter Artorigus Langley, pretty dumb guy, but has a heart of gold, and he is set that he is the one to pull out Excalibur from the stone. The funny part is he can't, and try as he might, no matter what, the sword does not budge. So, Jesus. So, it's a comedy. It's supposed to be taken a bit lightly, but it has that kind of theme of like, when you know you want something so badly that you're willing to spend weeks, years on it even, and it gets to the point where you're starting to doubt whether it's actually meant for you, but as long as you work hard and you put in the time, even if it's not the way that it's going to be how you thought you would get to it, you'll end up to the place that you feel like you deserve because you worked hard for it. And that's the kind of film that I wanted to make, with this kind of goofy guy who I feel like everyone kind of understands, that bright-eyed young enthusiasm and, visions of greatness that, where they believe that they can do great things just if they work hard enough for it. And, just wanted to tackle that in my film. So, in terms of what I need, I guess I'm looking for a voice actor for my main guy. I feel like it'd be a bit hard to sell the film if no one's talking for him. But anyway, besides that, I'll need some additional animators, maybe some extra voices to do some yelling and heckling and, it's that kind of stuff. And then also maybe a sound designer and composer. I'm not very musically inclined myself, so maybe some help would be appreciated. Anyway, that's my signal to go. Hope everyone have a good night.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonty Ransome. I'm a proud Nampa man, born and raised in Lachi Lachi country, and I'm here tonight to present you with my capstone film, Lack Thereof. Lack Thereof follows the story of Tal, whose social identity begins to fall apart when they spend a weekend away with their friends. Tal, over the course of this weekend, starts to question their place among this group as small moments of absurdity and chaos begin to crack them. The primary themes of the story explore that of social identity, connection, and dissonances. I plan to tell the story in a stream of consciousness style narrative, where the protagonist's thoughts, feelings, and reactions to the events unfolding in front of them take place over any logical narrative progression. The film will deal in these non-traditional filmmaking techniques as well as a non-narrative format to enhance the story and themes. Primarily, I'm seeking a producer as well as an assistant director at the moment to assist me in helping me further develop the film and begin pre-production. And if this idea and film has piqued your interest in any way, shape, or form in the ways of exploring non-narrative and non-traditional filmmaking, then please do not hesitate to reach out, as I'll be seeking out a like-minded crew of filmmakers. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Josh. I am a graduating animation student here at the VCA, and I was one of the many children whose brain chemistry was permanently altered after reading The Bridge to Terabithia. Ever reading that iconic children's book about tragedy, I have been fascinated with the concept of sad stories, and specifically why we as storytellers like telling stories where the characters are doomed from the beginning. Sure, seeing audiences tear up at the sight of my film on the big screen is a little bit satisfying, but on top of that, what I really enjoy about tragedies and making them is finding moments of beauty in the overwhelming expanse of loss within our lives, and the reassurance and the catharsis which comes with seeing audiences connect with the grief which I embed within our films. So my graduate film, Songbird, is no exception. It follows the story of Theo, a teenage boy pictured up here, who is left reeling after the loss of his boyfriend in a freak car accident. So his struggles between obsession and repression manifest itself in him wildly running through a forest, chasing after a mysterious songbird, but also escaping a ravenous wolf which pursues him. That is to say, he doesn't know whether he's escaping or chasing something, but he runs regardless. It is a fantasy drama, 2D animated film, dealing with the intricacies of love, mortality, and saying goodbye. So this is where I need you guys' help. I am looking for 2 amazing voice actors for my lovely leading boys. I need a voice actor for Theo, a gentle giant type character who's pretty sensitive and obviously emotionally stricken after the death of his boyfriend. And I also need a voice actor for Rory, a bright, fiery, larger-than-life character who has a really good singing voice, and bonus points if he can whistle. Of course, I am looking for any animation artists, specifically background artists and colorists, to help me with the heavy burden that comes with any animated production. And I'm also really looking for any expressions of collaboration. If you're interested on working on Songbird with me, my email is up there. You can find me out in the foyer. Once again, my name is Josh. My film is Songbird. Thank you so much for your time, and have a good night.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah, so I'm currently studying honours here at VCA. I'm introducing to you and pitching to you my film tonight called Pulp. So Pulp is set in a climate-affected near future and follows Elle, our protagonist, who is an impoverished woman experiencing these strange visions of light which affect her experience of the world spatially and also her memories. She follows one of these visions back to her estranged mother, who she discovers is alive, and the potential cause of her affliction. So Pulp explores their deeply dysfunctional relationship, and it has resulted in a kind of physical manifestation of their grief, which is nestled amongst the backdrop of our deteriorating living world. This forms a part of my practice-based research as an honours student in the aesthetics of the female sublime, as a response to the mastery between opposing powers, where the dynamic between the mother and daughter is one of contrasts, and that control and release. It is, to me, the ultimate representation of the female sublime. I like to make films about women experiencing the death spiral of the human race. So my last film was set in the 1800s, and a woman infected her family with smallpox and they all died. So this is kind of a continuation of that work. A lot of the people from that film are going to come back, but I'm really excited to work with new collaborators and form a warm, welcoming environment. So I'm really looking for costume designers, makeup artists, and also VFX artists out there. If there's any budding people excited to do cool things with light on screen and work in that interdisciplinary way, I'd be really excited to talk to you. But yeah, anyone who's just of any background is welcome to talk to me, because I'm really excited to talk to people about making female-focused storytelling where the cosmic horror meets the transcendental of the interpersonal trauma. So thank you so much.
Hello. In 2019, I was faced with the chance to work on board a cruise ship as a videographer. In researching what life on board a cruise ship is like, I discovered that many elderly passengers, unable to travel any other way, live out their... That's right. That's a spoiler. Live out their last days on board a cruise ship. And I thought, what a perfect landscape for a black comedy murder mystery set on a cruise ship in which the culprit proves to be natural causes, targeting one elderly man, Donald, who refutes death and ventures to turn the ship around to live a little more. I think we all want to suck the marrow out of life to the point of life being so depleted that when we depart, it's life that dies and not us, right? We've all been there. So this film will appeal to diverse audiences. With that said, the target audience for this film is retirees. They've got the time to see it, and they've got the money because they own the houses. Cinemas will glisten with grey hair. It will be beautiful. This will be an uplifting film, particularly for older audiences, showing them in an empowered way, knowing how to walk without breaking a hip, for example, and knowing how to take their pills on time. This film emphasizes how much life can be experienced in one life, and the vitality with which it can be held onto even later in the game. This film production will be a real hoot. If you would like to contribute in any way, I would love to speak with you, especially if you are a director of photography with virtual production experience, a producer, an assistant director, a sound recordist, sound designer or boom operator, a makeup artist or a stunt coordinator. We will have pre-production from the 24th of June right up until the shoot, which will take place from the 27th of July until the 2nd of August. I will hope to see you in the foyer. Cheerio, toodaloo, thanks very much.
Good evening. As a person, I often grapple with the notion of toxic masculinity and patriarchal societal norms, which are unfortunately so prevalent in public consciousness. As a filmmaker, I wish to address this head-on. International students often come to Australia in search of a better life. But what happens when you're sent on a student visa to have to murder your beloved sister? The protagonist, Amarjeet, the only son of a North Indian farming family, is faced with these most excruciating stakes. I'm Akshay, and my film is called Sister Mine. When people of Amarjeet's village find out that his sister has married a scheduled caste man in Australia, Amarjeet and his family face being outcast. And thus, dictated by social customs, it becomes a matter of family honor for Amarjeet's father. The solution, straightforward: honor killing his daughter. And so, as Amarjeet embarks on this journey to fulfill his father's gruesome wish, the question remains: will his love and camaraderie with his sister prevail? Or will he succumb to the social pressures of upholding his family's honor? Take a moment to visualize the film with me. Think of suffocation, claustrophobia, drowning. Think of cool, undersaturated palettes. Think of howling wind and submerged, murky audio. Finally, I'm looking for an entire crew. All positions are open. So if a cross between David Fincher, the Coen brothers, and Asghar Farhadi intrigues you, if gritty drama is your calling, and if social impact stories excite you, or well, if you simply just wish to acquaint yourself with diverse languages, customs, and food, let's get in touch and take this journey together. You could email me or find me in the foyer afterwards. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Kexin and I'm a second-year master student. This year my film is about a white Donnie whose father is accidentally being a cowman, and he tries to persuade all his siblings to sell his father's beloved house to raise the medical expenses after he discovering that his father could actually hear. So the reason why I want to make this film, because some of my personal experience this year during the Chinese New Year, because as you know, like Chinese people would try best to get back to their families during the Chinese New Year. And it's kind of like Christmas Eve. It's all about family members gathering together at the beginning or the ending of the year. But this year is very different from the past years because some of my old relatives passed away, and the young people, they don't actually want to kind of follow this tradition. They prefer to stay in big cities with their own small families rather than getting back to small towns, small villages, staying with like a bigger family with lots of relatives. This actually makes me very sad about this truth. So I really want to explore the reasons behind this and trying to figure out the relationship in modern families. And through this film, I really want to help all kinds of people that have similar feelings as me. And this project will be filmed into 2 locations, part back in China and part here in Melbourne. So the crew I'm looking for is like kind of second unit based in Melbourne, and the positions are open today are location management, production manager, director, assistant, art assistant, and VFX artists. But people, whoever is interested in this project, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
So a couple years ago, I was driving around with my family in the area I grew up in Dandenong, shout out Dandenong, and we decided it would be a fun idea to drive past my childhood home, which also happens to be my mum's childhood home. So we're driving there and I'm thinking, you know, how much could have really changed? Has my favorite tree been knocked down? Has it been turned into a meth lab? I don't know. Unfortunately, it was none of these things, and when we got there, we were greeted with the sight of the house literally being destroyed before our eyes, which was really shocking for all of us, but for my mum, who'd literally lived there her whole life, it was like she was going through the 5 stages of grief all at once. So it kind of got me thinking a lot about our memories and the way we attach these memories to the spaces we occupy and the place we grow up. And I really wanted to tell a story about a woman in grief who was trying to hold on to these memories and trying to hold on to her home. So this inspiration, combined with a desire to put my dad's bright red wood chipper on screen, inspired my film Blood and Bone, which follows Amira, a keen gardener living in a company town, who is left reeling after the death of her husband and dog due to chemical exposure, which she believes to be the fault of Eden Corp, which is the corporation that kind of manages the town's factory and everything else in it. When Eden Corp's acquisition manager, Alex, shows up at Amira's doorstep and demands that she vacate her home to make way for the expansion of this factory, Amira hatches a plan for vengeance. Poison Alex and turn him into fertilizer for her beloved garden. So pretty much when it comes to crew, I'm looking for anything and everything. If you'd like to stay with me in a little forest cottage and help me put a man's leg through a wood chipper and turn it into blood and bone fertilizer, please hit me up. I'd absolutely love to collaborate with all of you and bring the story to life. Thank you.
All right, guys, how we doing? We're good? Good. So I'm Matt. I'm studying honors here. I make horror films that kind of help me address social issues that make me quite anxious. So this year, I picked the most terrifying possible thing I could think of. Goddamn housing. Okay, renters. Yeah, me too. And probably forever now. So my film is about housing, those that need it, those that exploit them, and the dangers we face in our desperations. Lord is the story of 3 strangers that find themselves living together in a very strange old Brunswick share house. But there's a 4th entity. a strange, horrible being that feeds itself on the housing and security of others. We're going to be shooting from late June to the 1st of July. The film is going to be shot on location in beautiful Brunswick, specifically at my house. Use what you have. My house is old and strange and wonderful. It's also full of holes and probably asbestos, and it leaks. And it kind of sounds like screaming when the toilet's flushed, which is surprising. It used to be a pawn shop, then it was a DIY venue, and then the house of a record label. So it bears the scars of all of those. It genuinely has textures that you can't fake. Make the best of things. So you guys rent, and you understand why a horror film is an effective means of dealing with these emotions. I need a crew. I need makeup artists, I need sound recordists, I need grips, I need gaffs, I need PAs, I need ADs. I need camera assistants, I need production designers. I need an art department, I need general weirdos. The budget is small, as you might have guessed. But you're gonna get what you need, and most importantly, you're gonna be well fed. So if you got a skill set, you got something you love doing, if you take a strange amount of pride in the very creative way you manage to solve a problem, and you're like, check it out. Yeah, all right, I see you. Get in touch with me. I'm gonna be around. I think we can make something genuinely terrifying and put our fears onto other people. I'll see you out there.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. How's everyone going? Good, good. Oh my God, hi, okay. All right, I always wondered what it would be like to have a mental breakdown in front of my good old pals. And my character, Julia, actually gets to answer that outside of her body in this film. Yay! Okay, yeah, I'm having like an out-of-body experience right now, so this is really great material for this film, guys. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's mainly inspired by lots of anxiety. And, you know, I need a crew as well. I love that guy. I need some voice actors, please. Like if you can, like, I need, like 4 female voice actors. I know it's a challenge, guys. I'm aware. I love a challenge. You know me. What else? I need animators, because I'm not doing all that. Yeah. Okay. Mostly color stuff, you know. I see some fellow animators at the front, but you know. Yeah, what else was I gonna say, man? I was gonna sing Fireflies by LCD. But you know what? This is pretty good. This is... I'll do an interpretive dance for you guys if you want. Like, I'm here now. Like, please collaborate with me. I see you, please. Please. Look, hey, if you don't come to me, I'll come to you. I'll see you around, all right? You know where to find me, okay?
Hello, I'm Anthony and I'm directing Remember Tomorrow today. It's the story of a 12-year-old Billy who discovers a mysterious VHS tape containing his own future. When he watches it, he is forced to see his life unfold, showing him the death of his father, the meeting of the love of his life, the birth of his children, and perhaps the most unnerving, his paralyzing obsession with a tape he watched as a child. Although still in development, I have a strong connection with the film and the questions I'm asking. I want to explore the idea of determinism. Are we in control of our future? Does our upbringing define us? And are we doomed to make the same mistakes as our parents? I hope to ask these questions in a mixed tone of irreverence and psychological horror. The centerpiece of the film is, of course, the tape, which is rendered in a point of view perspective of Billy's life 20 years into the future. I hope to capture a reflective and nostalgic mood, utilizing the aesthetics of the past, such as the VHS, captured in short montages. These are moments of love and loss juxtaposed together in the blink of an eye. Think Eternal Sunshine meets Boyhood. In addition to the point of view stuff, which I'll be building a specialized rig that's going to be attached to Billy's head, I'm going to use post techniques such as like signal interference and data moshing, which are, I don't know, another cool stuff like that. And practical effects such as scenery changing as the camera shifts perspective from one way to another. I have a background in cinematography, and my style really leans on this visually focused thing. So all of my choices are going to be really specific and focused. If that interests you, I'm pretty keen to collaborate with anyone and build on those ideas. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ariel Reyes, and this is my film Relief, which is currently in working title, so it might not be that. For me, the films I like making are often reflections of myself and those that I love around me. Something I've taken from my past relationships is that a relationship is kind of like an unsigned contract. It's not stated, but inherently you take on a lot of their problems, feelings, and emotions. Relief is a coming-of-age, anti-romance, dark and brooding drama that follows Maggie, an only child in her 20s, whose relationship with her boyfriend Tyler is almost at a complete collapse. The film is set within the claustrophobic space of a hospital waiting room, where Maggie is waiting to see her terminally ill mother. In a scene that's so tense, what happens next between Tyler and Maggie could end disastrously. Thematically, the film is about love and overcoming denial, as well as I want to communicate the feelings of first love and first heartbreak. Visually, the film will take on kind of a more gritty, dark and brooding look with texture and the kind of distinct look that you would see in a hospital with those neon, or not neon lights, but those fluorescent lights and, you know, the white, stark hospital hallways. As well as I want to kind of translate the feeling of isolation through how the characters occupy the frame. To make this film possible, I need you guys to help me. I have a list of some of the people I'm looking for. I want to add a gaffer to that list as well to pull off the distinct look of a hospital. As well as my key cast. I still haven't cast yet, so if you're an actor in this audience, please come and find me later. I'd love to talk about the key roles involved. As well as crew, obviously, come and chat about, you know, what you might be able to fit into and all that. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the foyer.
Hello. All right. Hi, I'm Elise. I am a third-year animator here, of course. My film this year is about longing for the ocean, the smell, the aquatic life, the insane vastness of it, and the danger. This story follows my main character, Luella. It's the one up there. A young adult working a dead-end job. She finds relief in floating in the ocean. Her only wish is to abandon her life on land and live in the ocean. To me, that's a good deal. Following her is a mermaid whose curiosity is piqued by the floating girl and somehow managed to give her gills. Both are confused how this happens. All right, I am looking for... All right, it says composer. I have a composer, but you can fight him. I'm looking for sound designers. I would really love to work and learn together. And voice actors. So this film doesn't have any dialogue. So anyone who is down to like make some weird like underwater drowning noises, please let me know. But yeah, no dialogue. So we'll see what happens. If any of this piques your interest, or if you want to be my friend, please contact me at is my email up there? Yes, it is. Or find me afterwards. Awesome. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Erin. I'm an animator, and my film is Sing for the Lonely. So Sing for the Lonely is a semi-autobiographical, probably heavily autobiographical coming-of-age film about Jay, a girl in her 20s who lives alone. She's single. She lives in the city. And one night she has a dream which reveals a longing for romance in her life. She attempts to distract herself from her loneliness, but she comes up short. So what does she do in the end to soothe her melancholy? I'll give you a hint. She sings about it, yay. So I am looking for two main actors, one to play Jay and one to play her mum. I'm also looking for additional voices, regardless of age, gender, whatever, come find me. Jay will be singing in the film too, so if you can sing, that's a plus. If you can't, well, we can whip you into shape, I guess, I don't know. I'm also looking for singers for the soundtrack. So if you're not an actor but you like to sing, even if you write music, if you compose, whatever, let me know. Freaking email me or come find me in the foyer. I will be glad to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Hello, my name is Dung, but I also go by Ringo. This is my last year of uni, evidently, but it also might be my last year in Australia because I'm an international student. As an international student, but much more so as a young person, I often find myself kind of dreading over this question of what does life have for me and what does the future have for me? And I think this sense of adriftness and anxiety is something a lot of people can relate to, including An, the protagonist of my short film, A Realm of Raging Winds. So An and Nam are Vietnamese international students, and on their visit to a Buddhist temple here in Nam, An confides in an old monk the contents of his recurring dream, while Nam encounters somebody from his past, and around them, unnoticed, reality begins to unravel. A Realm of Raging Winds is really a spiritual exploration of the youth's psyche, done so through a Vietnamese cultural lens. And it's very much about dream, but it's also about reality, which is why I'm casting real Vietnamese international students, and also shooting on location at a Buddhist temple here in Nam. It's called Quang Duc Monastery, which has been the set for the SBS show Hungry Ghosts. So if you want to join me in capturing this world and telling the story, please feel free to contact me. And these are roles that I've listed, but they are not very indicative of those of whom I am looking for. So please reach out to me if you have any kind of interest. And I'm also encouraging potential crew members who are not cisgender men, because I'm a man, my camera assistant is a man. Ariel, whose pitch you just heard, is shooting my film, and he's a man as well. I mean, he's a handsome one, but still. So yeah, anyways, please reach out, and thank you so much for your time.
My film, I See Red, is an experimental drama. It's about a young woman / girl who's just really angry all the time. It's like the classic coming of age idea, except she's just so angry. She's like, she's not lost, or she's not a deer in the headlights. She's just really angry at herself, at the world, at like everyone. She gets in a lot of fights. Yeah, she's just angry, and I kind of wanted to make it just because that's kind of how I felt when I was younger, and I just never, I don't even know if it goes away when you're feeling like that, and I wanted to explore it, and yeah, I wanted to I don't know, just show it. I've never seen I probably just haven't watched the right movies, but to see a female character that's not psycho, she's not crazy, she's just really angry. So yeah, I'm looking for these roles, and also probably some more, to be honest, I'm looking for sound designer. I decided today, someone to do the sound in the edit. And we're going to shoot on film, 16mm, and shooting in West Melbourne, Footscray. I think my shooting date's July 24th to 28th. So if you think you want to be a part of it, then email me or see me in the foyer. Thank you.
G'day everyone, my name's William, and today I'm going to be speaking about my grad film FIFO. So FIFO is a story about two miners, Clipper and Stub, who are attempting to navigate the transient natures of their lives, really desperately searching for some sense of permanence. Through this struggle, they develop a romantic connection, but their problem is that they're on different rosters and they only see each other once every 2 weeks. Stub's an older miner, he's in his later 40s, and he's been in FIFO for nearly his entire adult life. He's stoic and reserved, but beneath his hardened exterior is a really empathetic and emotional man. He's got a 6-year-old daughter, Georgia, who's his whole world, but he's afraid that due to the transient nature of his work, he's going to have a daughter that grows up with barely knowing her father. Clipper's a bit younger, he's in his early 30s. He's directionless, impulsive, and deeply insecure. He lacks any real friends or family, and his life is divided between the mine site and whatever holiday destination has the cheapest flights. Because of how transient his life is, he's deeply insecure about his own permanence. To Clipper, everything is temporary. So far, Stub and Clipper have managed to keep their romance alive, but as the fear of becoming an absentee father weighs on Stub, and the fear of abandonment dawns on Clipper, the two seem destined for tragedy. We'll be shooting the film near the beautiful Salt Lakes around Lake Terrell. There'll be a lot of home cooking, and some of us will be camping, so if you're into that, let me know. My direction style tends to be really slow, gentle, and contemplative, and that really extends to my on-set attitude. My sets tend to be very chill. I'm not the type to schedule 25 setups in a day or do excessive overtime. I've been on enough sets to understand that we're all volunteers, and I really try and make my working environments as safe and rewarding as possible. If none of that has convinced you, it's also looking like I'm also shooting on 16mm, like Lucy. It's a format I've developed a pretty deep connection to over the years, and I'd love to find a way to make it a learning experience for those of you who haven't worked with it before. Ultimately, we're looking for a ton of people. I didn't put it up because we're shooting in early July, so it's all kind of happening quickly. We're looking to cast our leads, Clipper and Stub, as well as a heap of supporting cast and a handful of extras. I'd love expressions of interest for ADs, ACs, DOPs, and everything above. If you don't fit into those categories, I'm still very keen to work with you. I've just got kicked off, so that's all I've got. Thanks for your time.
Hello all. I'm Will, and I'm an animator. I'm also an honours student. I'm here to pitch my film, Cellular Automata. It's an experimental, abstract, hybrid work, and it's intended to be a meta-commentary on the philosophies behind animation as a medium itself. It combines both 2D animation and generative animation, two mediums that I believe are polar opposite when it comes to their philosophies of art making. To me, 2D animation represents the ultimate meticulous control of a creative process. Every precise movement, every little drawing is all a decision that's made by one sole creator. Generative animation works in contrast to this. Instead, you enter the rules and the parameters, but ultimately you're just pushing ideas into this black void and waiting to see what the computer spits out. As a young person with so many uncontrollable factors in my life, I wonder why art for me is something that gives me back that control. So why would I then push away that control? Why would I give up my own creative agency to something like a computer? A computer will always take the path of least resistance, the most logical approach, a straight line from point A to point B. But as artists, sometimes the most interesting thing is the wrong way to get from point A to point B. I want this to be a really fun, experimental film, so I'm looking for 2D animators, 3D animators, and generative animators, primarily people that work within Touch Designer. If you've never done generative animation before, but you're a 2D animator, or you're a generative artist and you want to work in 2D animation, I want this to be a place to experiment. I want to be able to create something really unique. So thank you.
Hi everyone. My film is all set in the homicide division where a reserved female detective, Ava, must solve the dance floor murder or she risks losing her job. Something that's had a major influence on me is some friendships with older women who have become sort of like a mentor for me. Ava will have a relationship like that with the senior sergeant, Josephine. The film is set in the kitchen at their office, but as they talk about the murder, the visuals around them change to the scene of the crime, which is the dance floor. They're still physically in the kitchen, but this dance floor space is what Ava sees in her mind and what they interact in, until a microwave starts beeping, bringing them back to the kitchen. The film will jump back and forth between these two visuals with elements of the sound, production design and actors from the kitchen coming into Ava's mind space. I'm excited to work with people on experimenting with transitions between the two. The act of exploring and collaborating is a big inspiration for my story and something I want to do in the making of the film as well. Ava is pushed to a point where other detectives join in the discussion. When they start to truly work as a team, they are doing a choreographed dance in Ava's mind. I want to tell this story because being at VCA and making films, I've learnt it takes a team. I think it's truly beautiful when people create together to make films, make art. that's not to say it isn't scary. I can tell you I'm very nervous to be up here speaking, but I'm also excited at the possibility of working with you. I'm shooting in August, and roles I know I need are co-producer, ADs, costume, art department, and sound. But please contact me if you're at all interested, because there are still various crew roles open.
To change the future, one must examine the past. This is what my grad film Building Houses is all about. Hi everyone, I'm Alec Chapman. I'm from Provo, Utah, USA. This year I'm making a curious, reflective, magical realist short that will feel like the winter sun as it sets over distant purple mountains and sound like a lonely trumpet call as leaves shimmer overhead. Building Houses is both a narrative and a documentary. What bridges the non-fiction and the fiction is a what-if question. What if my parents decided to sell my childhood home, the home that we spent 7 years renovating, the home that I thought held us all together? The year 2020 is the narrative part of the film. My memory of a car trip, the last time I returned home, is recreated with actors. Then, in 2024, the documentary part, I reflect on these memories through narration that I read to my mom. The core of the film is that moment in 2020, in the car, when I realized my parents are actual people with their own beliefs and blind spots. I realized that the concept of parent doesn't encapsulate who each of my parents are anymore, and child doesn't capture who I am. So my childhood houses are a metaphor examining these familial relationships. And ultimately, the film argues that perhaps we're better off without these walls, to instead be people, side by side, able to love each other for who we are, and not the role we play. So to capture the magical realism of the character's journey, my journey, we will use a blend of real and virtual spaces, leveraging the Uni's virtual production studio, and we shoot 17th to the 23rd of July. When the film is finished, I hope to play it for my parents so that instead of the historical silence from me, they can see, hear, and know who I am. I'm looking for cast and crew to join me on this journey, so please get in touch. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can we hear me? Yes, sweet. Hi, everyone. My name is Samuel Bordalazzo. I'm a third-year film and television student, and I love TV. I love TV so much. It's been a major comfort for me my whole life, and so I've used my grad film as kind of an excuse to make the 200th episode of my own fictional sitcom, The Family Dregs. What's exciting about this is that it's going to be shot like it's a live broadcast. My film will... What's exciting about my film is that the patriarch of the fictional sitcom family has been killed off in the episode preceding this one for being a menace off set. So he uses the opportunity of the live broadcast to infiltrate the set during the broadcast and try to rewrite himself back onto the show as a new character, Uncle Jack. The cast has no choice but to adapt to this improv and try to get him off stage, but the show must go on. It'll have a very visual style of like shows like Seinfeld, Friends, Full House, old 80s sitcoms, and if you know the show This Time with Alan Partridge, it'll have a very technical style like that, being shot like a live broadcast. All the shots will be like it's a live broadcast. So for that reason, I need a DOP who's excited by the challenge of mimicking a live switching multicam sitcom. Also need a producer who's excited to dive into this project with me, bring this world to life. I myself am very interested in practical production design. I have a bunch of naked set flats down the side of my house. Come build a unique sitcom with me. If you want to just be a part of the studio audience, that'd be sick as well. My shooting dates are 15th to the 18th of August. I'll be in the lobby. Come chat to me about anything, about this, about sitcoms. You know I'll love it. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Hello. Hi everybody, my name is Bronte and like they said, I'm here to talk to you about my animated musical called Fool. This is a story about a freaky little jester named Beatrix, who's this little weird lady up there. She's so in love with the princess of the kingdom and will do anything to have her despite the nasty queen's wishes, including planning to murder the queen in order to get her. So things happen and it's a really fun time. I'm exploring themes of love and desperation and how you don't always know people even though you think you're very close to them. So I want it to be really wacky, really violent. It's a big mix between comedy, fantasy, horror, and it is a musical, so fun times, lots of singing, fun. Anyway, I'm looking for 3 voice actors is my main goal for today. I need one for my crazy jester lady Beatrix. I need one for Princess Aria, who is like the more reserved love interest, and I need one for the Queen, who is the antagonist of my film. I'd also love to bring on board any potential collaborators, any additional animators if you're interested, and honestly, anybody who has an expression of interest, please hit me up. I'd love to talk about it. If you're interested, please email me there or talk to me downstairs. And please, any musical theatre people out there, come talk to me. I'd love to meet you. I love it so much. Cool. So this is, my film Fool. I hope you guys like it, and thank you so much for talking to me. Thanks. Bye. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lynn. My film is about Mike, an 84-year-old retired music broadcasting host who dedicates his days to writing broadcasting scripts until he discovers the letter from a mental health clinic. In the letter, he finds out about his daughter Anne contacting the clinic without asking him. Feeling angry and depressed, Mike struggles with the loss of control over his life decisions and health. So he's trying to find a way to make himself better and make things back on the track. I keep thinking of these questions. How does an elderly individual redefine their life when fears of losing control? How they work out from the past that constrained them? It raises important questions about how we provide support, how we understand them, and how we help them through depression and prevent extreme actions. I'm also curious about why elderly, especially male, is more difficult to cope with this situation and more likely to take extreme actions, according to evidence and research. My film might not be able to provide all these answers, but I want to provoke deep reflection, attention, and understanding of this topic. So if you're interested in working with me in this sad, beautiful film, please contact me, and this is my email address. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out here today. Like it's my party. Sweet Spot, or Ginhawa, is a project that uses a decolonial film practice. Its aim is not to manufacture a cinematic story, but rather to cultivate a collaboration with other artists who are seeking to create a mode of storytelling that focuses on the empowerment of marginalized voices. The film is about Gemma and Joyce, who is a mother and a daughter working in Australia. Rather than focus on the exploitative history of Filipino migrant nurses, I am inspired by the feminist filmmakers like Agnes Varda, particularly in her film Cleo 5 to 7, where she places her focus on Cleo's experience. To quote Agnes, "We follow a woman, but we don't leave her a minute. If there are 10 steps to go to the door, we film the 10 steps. So because I oblige myself to be in real geography in real time and still making the audience understand that she is afraid, that she tries to escape her fright, and then does that again in meeting people, we can understand that if in a very short time, she can change. She can turn her mind to look at other people instead of looking at herself." I'd like to invite you all to take a moment and reflect if this is something that will help your creative practice. If it is, I encourage you to reach out, and I look forward to collaborating with you.
Hello, hello. What happens when your life decisions have led up to a career that you find unfulfilling, but when you decide to quit, you can't? Now, I'm sure most people in this room have experienced some kind of conflict between what they want to do and what people have told them to do in order to be successful in this life. I know I have. Before I pursued filmmaking, I went down the dreaded path of economics until I realised it truly wasn't fulfilling to me, and this is where my story picks up. The story centres around Vincent, a young man in his mid to late 20s who uses sculpting to escape his mundane job at an accounting firm. The people at Vincent's office are quite strange. They can barely talk to him and are engrossed by their work. Furthermore, there is a strange culture of everyone drinking kombucha brewed by the boss, Peter. On the brink of blowing up his career to pursue sculpting, Vincent discovers a strange organisation of men in latex bodysuits are operating in the firm, and that they take people from the office and extract all bodily fluids from them, leaving a gaunt, vacuum-sealed-like body behind. These fluids are the key ingredients to the kombucha. Upon being caught by this cult, Vincent is given the choice to drink the kombucha, which will eliminate all outside ambitions, make him rise the corporate ladder, or reject their practices and attempt to escape his work's grasp. So this is an atmospheric thriller with a dash of body horror, played with a semi-realist tone. So basically, people are getting mummified for kombucha, but it's played pretty straight. What I wanted to unpack with this film are the pressures we all face to find a successful career, and how that can sometimes lead people down a path they should have never taken. I mean, people tell you, get a degree, get a job, and then work that job until you realise, what the fuck am I doing this for? Money, status, because Dad said he'll disown me if I don't follow his exact career path? Who knows? But the word success can mean a multitude of things, but it only means one thing to you, and that's what we can sometimes forget. So I'm looking for cast and crew, as you can see up there, except for the set designer. So if you're keen to wear some latex and maybe work on some practical effects, come have a chat to me in the foyer over some bubbles, if they're providing that. Thank you.
G'day everyone, my name is Sue and my short film is called Roadkill. 10-year-old Sam lives with his mum Kelly, while his other mum Jenny is absent. While driving to the bush, Sam distracts his mum and causes her to swerve off the road, hitting a kangaroo. Over the next few days, Sam's haunted by a dead kangaroo. Eventually, Sam comes to terms with the guilt he feels surrounding the animal's death and his parents' divorce. The film is about Sam's misguided view that his actions and naughty behaviour is the reason why his mum left. The dead kangaroo becomes a mother figure to Sam and helps him so he can help his mum. It's a children's horror adventure film, so think Donnie Darko crossed E.T. The kangaroo will be played by a puppet. I wanted to explore the sense of guilt you feel when you're grieving a relationship, when you're in the pit of despair, thinking if only there was something you could have done differently to change the outcome. I also wanted to make a film where an adult character was learning a lesson from their child. Drawing from my own experience as a sensitive child, I often felt the frustration of being unheard, overshadowed by the weighty issues of adults. I wanted to explore how children play a part in understanding and shaping the growth of adults around them. Kids love being scared. They also love weird, gross things. And knowing this, I wanted to make a film that combines my love of horror and my background making children's content. I also think it would be really fun to make a family kids film that's influenced by exploitation cinema of the 70s and 80s, like Razorback, which is about a giant killer boar. So I'm looking for a composer, location sound recorder, sound designer, costume designer, or on-set stills. Or if you just want to talk about puppets, I'll be eagerly awaiting your email.
Well done, Sue.
Hi, my name is Sam. My pronouns are she, her. Thank you. Okay. This is my co-writer, Felix. We are joined at the hip. Last time I was up here was for my bachelor grad film, Last Cinema, which we just brought home from the Sydney Short Film Festival, where we won Best Experimental Short. We're very proud of it. I love movies about weirdos and perverts. I find them deeply interesting. I'm going to hand over to my co-writer, Felix, who I also find deeply interesting.
Hi, I'm Felix. I'm a little weirdo and a pervert. I just came back from Cuba, studied over there at the ACTV film school set up by Castro and Gabriel Garcia Marquez. But now I'm here in Nam to make a little movie with my good friend Sammy. Sammy, what's this movie about?
I'm so glad you asked. Myles is Missing is a fictional doco about the disappearance of Myles, a young trans woman whose life was being secretly recorded and uploaded to a website called MillCam. The film follows Myles' girlfriend, Ed, who creates a documentary in an attempt to find her. Ultimately, Ed discovers that image and memory can never represent the whole truth, but it's all she's got. You want to talk a bit about the production?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially the movies like World's Fair, Heterostero, Alan Resnick. If you know who these are, talk to us. The film, it's like a fake documentary, but it also takes place a lot on a computer. So if you know how to make a website, if you know how to use Touch Designer, or if you know how to turn into a security camera, please, 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 please reach out.
Yeah, cool. Let's see, our shoot dates are the 18th to the 24th of June. We're looking for a production designer, gaffer, soundy, first AD, first AC, and a composer. So if that sounds like you, get in touch. My email's up there, or I'll see you in the foyer. Thanks, everyone.
I love you all.
I'm Polly. I'm the writer-director of D-TOX. D-TOX follows the story of Ari, who is a solo space voyager on a long-haul research trip. Ari's life revolves around this really strict routine, but it's starting to become clear that maybe something is missing. And every day Ari takes a pill to forget, until one day the pills stop and she's forced to face what she's been hiding from herself, which is the untimely death and existence of her sister Hazel. So as the grief becomes unbearable, Ari attempts to fix the pill dispensary and eventually has to face the question of whether she decides to take the pill and forget her sister again, or leave the pill and remember her sister despite the pain. Now, my paper's all folded very weird, so I'm just going to unfold that. The initial idea for this film came from personal experience. At the end of last year, I was about to go on a supervised trial to go off my antidepressants, and I was very nervous, but I was really lucky that I was going to be supported. But then I began to ask my question, what if you weren't supported? What if you went into withdrawals alone in the middle of space? Through D-TOX, I want to explore the struggles of depression and loss through the lens of the sci-fi genre. I want to use space as a backdrop to inform this feeling of isolation. I'm really excited we're doing an in-studio full set build of a spaceship. We're crazy enough to be doing that, so if you're interested in production design, we have currently a base build of a spaceship in my house. Through the film, I want to question what we gain and what we lose of ourselves when we become over-medicated. But ultimately, I want the film to act as a reminder that there is always something to hold on to, even in the depths of pain. So if you want to come be part of my space crew, please talk to me, or my producer Lewis will be hanging out in the foyer. Thank you.
Hi everyone. This is fucking terrifying, but let's go. So the Tinsel Years follows Jane. She's this desperate, manipulative character. She lives with her mall Santa entrepreneur mother, Donna, who for the most part is quite indifferent to her daughter. They're two sides of the same coin in a way. They run on this currency of transactional love. And through living with her mother and observing her business, Jane's been raised with this false belief that intimacy and familiarity can be manufactured. So, to get the attention she craves, Jane decides that she is dying, and she's having a fake funeral to celebrate. So this film is a comedy, but it's also a tragedy. My dad used to be a freelance photographer, and he would wake us up at like 6 a.m. some mornings to stage these mock photo shoots and sell them to online newspapers, and we would be like fake riding bicycles and like playing video games. And my siblings and I hated it, of course, but my dad said that we would appreciate them when we're older. And I have a photo, which I found after writing the script, oddly enough. Sorry I didn't put it up there, but it's me as a miserable baby, which is online, and I actually can't get it offline, which is fine. Yeah, so I'm really passionate about telling a story about people who've been told they're selfish their whole lives, especially by the people who have raised them, who are kind of exactly the same as them and have taught them everything they know. I think that that's something that stays with a person for a while, which is why I'm making this film. But on a more happy note, I'm looking for crew, so please come say hi to me in the lobby. I'll have my producers Bella and Georgie with me. We have a lot of roles to fill, but I'm really just looking for anyone who's passionate about the film, because I'm passionate about the film, and it really needs people who believe in it. It's going to be really fun. It needs people who want to go ham on a project, prod designers, a DP with a cool creative vision. But yeah, come say hi. I'm really funny and cool, so yeah.
Hi, my name's Amelia. I'm an animator. If you've ever wanted to kiss a computer, this film is for you. Oh my God, my text has just disappeared. All right, that's great. Anyway, I'm going to say it anyway, it's fine. That is Valentine. She's the protagonist, and everybody in her workplace hates her, including her boss, Mr. Salmon. He's a dick. He concocts a plan to fire her because he just doesn't like her vibe. So he decides to tell her, okay, go and make a sentient AI out of this old decrepit supercomputer called Hugh.
she takes to this like a fish to water and does a bunch of increasingly stupid things to try and make this computer feel emotions. Work with me if you want to figure out how it ends. I'm looking for voice actors for Valentine and Mr. Salmon. So Valentine, young woman of some kind. Mr. Salmon is a very angry man. If you feel like you fit either of these roles, please contact me at the email, which you can't see at all, or find me in the foyer. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name's Felix. This is my film Catharsis. It's told through the eyes of Theo, a young boy who lives with his single mother after the loss of his father at a very young age. Theo is a very emotionally intelligent boy because he grew up with his mom basically as her best friend, as her confidant. Think like, you know, the relationship in Almost Famous, if you guys have seen that. So his mom, Cassie, is an anthropology professor who's obsessed with ancient culture, specifically ancient rites of ritual. So she's developed a theory in that all throughout human history, in every single culture, they've developed independently a coming-of-age ritual that there's an inherent need for cathartic, oftentimes violent, ritual when a boy becomes a man. And for the first time in human history, because the world's become so globalized, we've stopped doing that. So what does that mean? Cassie, above all else, loves Theo. She's scared to death of losing him, and to what she believes is the new wave of coming-of-age rituals, which is where teens fill that void by, you know, sneaking out of home, doing drugs, hooking up, going places they shouldn't be, generally rebelling. So her solution is to make Theo do a ritual of his own. So she sends him out to the woods with a hunting knife and a mission to kill something, bring a trophy, and don't come back until you do. Stylistically, my film is going to be pulled from all kinds of places, movies that are slightly surreal, but, you know, rooted in actual heart. Films like Swiss Army Man and Submarine, to name a couple. So I'm trying to lean into the strange aspects of my story, but preserve the real themes and ideas that it's grounded in. At the moment, I'm in need of producers, first AD, makeup artist who can do bloody and bruised and things like that. But if you're at all interested, I'd love to have you. I'm sure I can find a role for you. So thanks very much. Have a good night, guys.
Hello everyone, my name is Adriel Clark and I'm here to talk to you about my film In the Trees. But first, a little bit about me. I grew up in a really tiny village in France. There were only about 20 kids in my whole primary school and we spent most of our time building forts in the forest outside the school. So isolated from any kind of real world dramas, we learnt to create our own, instinctively building alliances, hierarchies, elaborate political systems, which would escalate into fights and wars that felt no less intense than what I assume the knights of medieval Europe were going through. So this is basically the inspiration behind my film In the Trees. It's the story of Sasha the Strong and Rory the Brave, two opposing leaders of these forest fort gangs, whose relationship thus far has been exclusively on the battlefield. But this is until their moms become friends and things get a little bit more complicated. It's a sort of Lord of the Flies crossed with Romeo and Juliet, shot like a gladiator film. It's about the importance of play, and when it's taken too far, it's about betrayal, it's about connection, and of course, medieval military strategy hyperfixations. In case you couldn't already guess, this is about an autistic child, and so I want the film to feel like their real life. I want the lights to feel brighter. This light is very bright right now, but I'm managing. Yeah, I want the sounds to feel louder, and I want the drama to feel more dramatic. Because to them, this is not a playground story. This is war. This is everything they stand for pitted against everything they stand against. So to create the next big epic war film, I need the help of some enthusiastic individuals. If you are looking to get experience working with children, I think this would be a great opportunity. Come be my first or second AD and come learn from my mistakes. If you just want to build a fort, that's also cool. Come help me on prod design. I also need some sound recordists. I've done my fair share of ACing and best boying, so no role will be underappreciated on this film. It's a rural shoot, so if you're looking to get away from the city, then come join me. And it's in the holidays, so no excuses. Okay, I think that's all from me. I'll see you on the battlefield or in the foyer.
G'day, everybody. So my film, How's the Boulevard? It's about a young woman with no name who lives in a strange, isolated part of the world with her father. I say strange, it's probably Eastern Europe, possibly in the 1930s. But this image is shattered when one day a man in a very modern high-vis turns up and the construction of a cell tower begins. Pretty soon, everything that this young woman has thought to believe is turned upside down from the world that she lives in to the very language that she speaks. But while she responds to all of this change with curiosity and a kind of excitement, her father sort of flips out and he starts to go almost manic with fear as he tries to further exert control over her and keep her insulated from the outside world. This film for me, however, it started as I began to try and untangle the weird, thorny, vaguely traumatic displacement that my parents, Jesus, I'm not that old, that my great-grandparents experienced as they fled from the pogroms in Eastern Europe in the early 1900s to England. And the way that that has sort of trickled down through generations, therefore we get to me. It's sort of the point that I'm trying to make with the film fundamentally, though, is the idea that sooner or later, if we're going to grow as humans, we have to learn to disobey our parents. We have to learn to push past their pain, and so we can just deal with our own instead. And since it's kind of a little doom and gloomy right now, I guess I'll just say that tonally, this film is going to be a bit sardonic, a bit bleak, but a little bit funny. If your idea of humor is stepping into a bear trap, anyway, I mean, that's neither here nor there. We're going to be filming in late July, and in addition to all those crew positions that I'm looking for, it's a very production design heavy film, so anyone with an interest in art design or who has experience in art department, please, oh please, come find me. I'm so very desperate. All right, thank you.
Hello, hi. Okay, my name is Isabella, and I'm really excited to introduce my film, Summertime Sadness. It is a temporary title that I put for the moment because the film is inspired by Lana Del Rey and the evocative themes that she sings in her songs. Okay, so the film is set amidst a scorching heat wave, and it unfolds as a sun-drenched summer satire of the film industry's objectification and exclusion of women. The story focuses on a struggling young actress called Viola who aspires to make it big. She is trapped in a coercive relationship with an older influential producer called Harvey, and he orchestrates a lavish, he orchestrates a lavish pool party inviting industry elites. At this party, Viola seizes the opportunity to perform amidst the sea of scrutinizing eyes and showcase her talent to an infamous casting director in attendance. But as the sun climbs higher, tensions ignite, leading to chaos and rising temperatures. In this world where beauty is currency and rejection fuels madness, our protagonist's journey takes a compelling turn as she finds a disturbing satisfaction in the downfall of the party guests amongst the heat. I'm really passionate about delving into the glamorous yet exploitative world of women in the entertainment industry, where they navigate misogyny and societal pressures to achieve their dreams. With this film, I aim to immerse viewers in the comedy of exaggeration, really showing the tactile sensation of heat, using it as a powerful narrative tool that will ignite chaos at the pool party and force guests who are bound by social pretense and etiquette to shed their facades, and as the heat wave is going to spark panic, pain, and pandemonium. Okay. So I'm really, really excited about this project, you guys, and I'm shooting on the 6th to the 9th in 2024, and I'm looking to have a majority of female/female identifying crew on this project. I'm working with a fabulous producer called Jane, and we are really excited to hear from you guys. Please, please reach out. I'm still looking for the crew roles left on the board. If I've missed some, just reach out, you can. And okay. Oh, I'm so excited to have so much fun. It's going to be very 60s, Slim Aarons, photography, pastel colors, etc. And yeah, you can talk to me in the foyer, or you can send me a message on Instagram or send me an email. Okay, bye.
Goodness me, it's been a while since I had that beard. I'm Jimmy. I am a second-year master's directing student. My background's in editing. I was doing that for about 10 years, but I've moved to the glorious city of Melbourne to give directing a proper crack. I feel like when you move to a new town, you kind of are obliged to look at the sights and see what it has to offer. So like a good Melbourneian, I looked around what Victoria had to offer and ended up at the historical reenactment gold mining town of Sovereign Hill. Like many of you who have been to Sovereign Hill, I imagine you went there when you were a little bit younger than I was. I didn't realize it was primarily for 5th graders when I got there, by myself on a Tuesday morning. But I had an interesting time. You know, it was fun being the only adult who wasn't working there for the day. But I did learn, some exciting things about the history of Australia, which, I was shocked at how much places like Sovereign Hill in the 1850s formed our beliefs about entitlement and land ownership and immigration, the environment. It was chilling. Sovereign Hill, who knew? So I want to make a story set in the Australian gold rush in the 1850s, which looks at those values and how, for better or for worse, mostly worse, I think, they still permeate into modern society. So the creek, for those who can read my handwriting, we'll focus on Graham, who's an older prospector, and William, who's a young, kind of enthusiastic immigrant who they're both gold panning in the same creek. But tensions arise, one of them murders the other one, as happens, I won't say who. And later that night, the ghost of the victim comes back to haunt the survivor. Is the survivor riddled with guilt and going mad, or is the victim still alive? Please volunteer on my film and you'll be able to find out. It'll be about greed, it'll be about entitlement, it'll be a genre blend between magical realism and Australian Gothic with like a little hint of horror thrown in. But mostly it's going to be the atmosphere of it. I work in post and I care a lot about sound design and trying to create a very specific space. So I want this to feel handmade and analog, like a tale that's been handed down through generations, like all grimy and frayed around the edges. The dialogue's largely taken from historical documents of the time, and we'll be filming on location in an actual creek. So again, for people who can read, those are the roles we're looking to fill, but anyone who's interested in getting on board for the project, please come and talk to me. And thank you everyone for coming to pitch night. Our films don't get made without you.
Well, hello everyone, my name is Ian and this is my film called Yu. Well, Yu actually means the jade in Chinese. So it represents like the innocence, beautiful and delicate and purity. And also Yu is my protagonist's name as well. And Yu is a really tragic story about a queer dancer tries to break free for the very first time. And I think we all suffer a lot of stress in our daily life, also like the invisible manipulations as well, like people will ask you to do this, or if you can, like you will not success. And yeah, that's the Yu like confronting. And I think he takes a lot of like efforts to just want to be himself, but the only person that opposed and against him is his teacher, his only family, and his love as well. And he needs to really tackle those problems. And also in this story, what's worse, his teacher even used his mother's death to traumatize him, to just against him not to be himself. So this is the story about. And so like making this film, because the situation in China is even worse, because people just can't be themselves and just can't obey the rules. So making this film, I just want people to understand that I know you are fighting, but you are not alone. And I think being yourself is just the first step to the true happiness. Yeah, and yeah, my shooting schedule is August 14th and 20th. And since it's a Chinese story, so the shooting will all based in China. And you can see the photo. Yeah, we're shooting the mountains because I think that's the vibe of the film. Yeah, I really want to show that on screen. And I hope you like it. So yeah, I'm looking for music composer, still photographer, and gaffer, actually any other talents. If you want, like, be part of this project, if you're into like tragic stories or dance or the mountain view or just want to travel to China, you are so welcome. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
And Plexus, I scream from heaven!
Hey guys, my name's Nick Murcott. I'm a based god who makes experimental lo-fi films about eccentric characters who teeter on the edge of lunacy and evil. I'm also that guy that made a movie about gooning last year. Guys, come on, I have a time limit. And Plexus is a southern gothic fairy tale about a wealthy family of southern frogs who find a human girl in the back of their swamp, while the dim-witted baby boy of the family proclaims his intention to marry the lady. A feeling of lust and hatred is sparked within the patriarch Papa Frog, which threatens to destroy them all. I'm aiming to look into the psyche of a person who has everything one's heart could desire, yet still feels nothing at all. What happens when someone has reached the summit of their lives, yet expected more? Do you live in misery, or destroy it all and start again? Every character will be betrayed through the usage of these here latex masks, the frogs, the human girl, President Richard Nixon's in it, and we'll be emulating an old Hollywood style. The film will be shot in pristine CinemaScope widescreen with images that pop like Technicolor. But to combat all this perceived glitz and glamour of southern living, the film will be shot on VHS to capture the decaying, filthy nature of Papa Frog and his crumbling empire. Think Ben-Hur if it was directed by Harmony Korine. Hysteria and melodrama are two crucial elements to understand the world of this film. Everything is big, over the top, dramatic. I wanted to feel as though this film was made by a washed-up, disgraced director, and this is his last desperate attempt at Oscar gold. The more pretentious and self-serious, the more earnest in my eyes. I'm currently looking for a producer. Guys, please. I'm currently looking for a producer, a director of photography, stunt coordinator, production designer. Get those phones out and take pictures of this, production designers, and a number of other roles. You know, I'm excited to see people. I have I'm getting back up. I have so much unbridled passion for this project, and I truly cannot wait to see the life and energy all your different interpretations will breathe into this production. There's no one interpretation. I don't know my own interpretation. I want you all guys to just make a smorgasbord of everything. My shoot dates are August 20th to the 23rd, and my Instagram handle is DreamBoyNicky, one word. I implore absolutely anyone who has interest in the field of niche micro-budget art house films to join me on this journey. We're making the next Ben-Hur, the next Trash Humpers, the next winner of the live-action short Oscar. Please meet me in the lobby. Thank you.
Hello. I'm not sure how to follow up after that. But hello, my name is Kamal. I am an FTV honors student doing animation because, no offense, I think it is the superior method of storytelling. And so my film, Monkey See, intends to tackle the conflict of animal testing for scientific and medical research and whether or not that is worth the suffering of the animals who are in those tests, while also trying to shine a light on why we humanize and anthropomorphize animals in media, particularly in animation, to sort of evoke and almost force a sympathy and connection within that audience. So essentially going for a human gain versus animal welfare kind of message. So the story itself will focus on a little monkey who is subject to these experiments, and within this it'll follow the internal and external effect of these tests and play with the viewer on how we feel psychologically and physically, like the psychological and physical damage happening to these animals while juxtaposing with the progress that happens for human society. So fun stuff like that. What else do we need to say? So I will be needing a team to make this film because, fun fact, animation takes forever. So aesthetically, the film will be like 2D animation on top of physically built stop motion style sets. So if this is a project that you're interested in, we are primarily looking for assistant animators and colorists, as well as background artists and set builders, but any other sort of expression of interest to help would be really good. There is no dialogue in this film, but if you want to come make monkey sounds, that could be fun. What else? I think that's pretty much everything. So if you do want to work on this film, you can find me in the foyer later, or shoot me an email, and if you tell me your dietary preferences, I will make you cookies. But that is only if you end up working on the project. So I believe that is everything. Thank you.
Good afternoon, girls, staff, and Principal Emery to Montgomery's 125th annual Rosewater debate. We have our Prince Taylor boys arriving as we speak. Crowd of girls squealing and chanting, "Mon, mon, mon, mon." Okay. That was a little excerpt from my film Shrimp. I want everyone to finally experience the day in the life of an all-girls private high school, full of women empowerment, underlying lesbian love, and identity crisis. After being labelled shrimp for her hot body and ugly face, Ava's still trying to fit in with where her place stands in a group full of morally messed up and insecure girls, aka the mean popular girls. Shrimp explores a theme that we have all been through, the identity crisis we go through of trying to fit in, people-pleasing, and that life or death intensity of high school. This may have the humor and niches of an old girls' school, but we all can relate and have a little bit of Avery in us. Hashtag, I'm a shrimp. These girls have been friends since primary school, but Ava is soon realizing high school is leading them into different paths. One of her friends, Chloe, is secretly in love with her and having difficulties accepting that. And then eventually Ava meets Jack. They bond over being outsiders in their friend groups, but his way of conforming is by vaping and preying too hard. Jack is weak, and ultimately Ava comes to the realization she's better off without him and the girls. A person of color trying to fit in with the rich Australian white people. I mean, this character is so not based off of me. I remember just being in the outskirts of my friend groups, like in enough to know they were can I swear? In enough to know that they were fucked up, but not enough to have the power to do anything. Anyway, I have no shame in adding our conversations. Shrimp has an upbeat Gen Z comedic tone with romance and satirical characters with so much heart, like deep down, I really love the bitches. Think Jamaica private school girls with the heart of puberty blues and sex education. I'm working with my besties, Kimberly. I'm working with my besties and Morse to create a little crustacean baby. So please, if you want to work with me, hit me up.
Folks, welcome. I know we are very, very excited to start mingling outside. Before we kick off, a few production parameters just to set us on the straight and narrow. So, before we start mingling, I want to run through some guidelines for working on a VCA project. Now, of course, students will get a full list of these production parameters to share with you, our crew, cast, and creatives after today. What I'm going to run through right now are some top-line need-to-knows. Okay, so obviously I'm at a lectern, so I mean business. I want to start off by talking about workplace health and safety. I'm just letting that one sink in for a minute. It's okay, folks, we can smile. It's not that serious, but here at Uni Melbourne, we take safety very seriously. Workplace health and safety regulations are there to keep everyone safe on and off set. Safety is everyone's role. Absolutely no additions are necessary. Guess what? You've already all got the part, legally speaking. So if you do hear the term break a leg on a performance, it is strictly a metaphor. Just want to really clarify that here. Here we teach best practices and students learn industry standards set by the Media, Entertainment, Arts and Alliance. That's MEA for short. Professionalism is expected on all our sets at all times. The only drama allowed is the scripted variety. So, collaborating. I'm going to start with the you-know reverse card for the audience. I'm going to ask, what do you want to get out of your collaboration? Are you looking maybe to work on a film for the first time? Are you networking? Are you honing your craft, building material for your showreel? Or is it an on-screen credit? That's really important whenever you're engaging in a collaboration. So feel free to reach out to our students, maybe not even listed there, but you just want to reach out to see, hey, do you have an opportunity to work on them? Now, writers, directors, and editors must be VCA students, and any producers that work on a VCA project outside of the university need to get the green light first from our VCA staff. Now, really important to mention, VCA is not a production company. We are an educational facility. So all our film sets and spaces are learning environments. That said, we encourage students to try, to experiment, and sometimes we're going to make mistakes. We're finding our feet, and that's okay. So hiccups may happen. Just make sure you're patient. So when you're volunteering, no contract means no play, really. All volunteers need to complete a crew or actor volunteer agreement, and you're going to get really well acquainted with our volunteer induction booklet. as a volunteer, you'll work within the VCA guidelines, our policies, risk assessments, and any onboarding material. So your student filmmakers will supply you with that material. Again, those volunteer agreements are there to protect both of us, and without it, it means you're not covered by the university's insurance policy. So very, very important that you read those and make sure you have them agreed before you arrive on set. Talk about the shoot. So volunteers can bring external equipment, but it's not covered by UniMelb insurance. So common things you normally see on sets: lens, camera, lighting, maybe a nice hat. If you have a really nice fedora that you don't want to be damaged, maybe don't bring it. Remember, folks, if you're bringing your own equipment, it's not covered by our insurance. If you're a DOP and you're external to the VCA, you have to work within our technical specs, which your student filmmaker will provide you. We shoot on weekdays and weekends. The grind never stops. And when you are working on our films, lunch is provided by your student filmmakers. Traveling working hours. So our shooting hours are up to 10 hours, and that includes a 45-minute meal break. That's as per MIA guidelines. Out of town, that's Metro Melbourne for those of us playing at home. These shoots happen. Talk to your student filmmaker about the travel plan and agreement. At the VCA, let's make your own way. We don't provide transport to or from set. And all our VCA productions are unique. Some are self-funded, some are partly crowd-funded. Again, make sure you speak to your student filmmaker. Be transparent about what's covered and what might not be covered. Again, the only surprises you want are nice ones. Payment, let's talk money. Volunteers are unpaid, and that means before or after the project. No sending unexpected invoices. They break hearts. We're really clear on that one. So, reasonable expenses have to be agreed before you spend it, okay? And that has to be in writing. An example of reasonable expenses, this could be maybe transport, it could be petrol, maybe a costume. Unreasonable expenses in this economy, probably avocado on toast. Yeah. Maybe a limo for us to attend for our cameo loops. Always. So these things are ideas. Keep physical receipts. No explaining what they look like. They have to be physical dockets, okay? Being paid under a volunteer agreement is a no-go. If money exchanges hands, those agreements are void, and you won't have the safety of the university's insurance. So, final footage. Okay, this is a big point. It's a point of contention sometimes. You won't be able to snag clips or the final film until January 2025 at the earliest. No amount of charm is going to work here. Believe me, I have tried. You cannot get past those gatekeepers. Our students also can't speed up that process, so don't try and charm them either. It's not going to happen. The VCA also owns all copyright, and that's on student content that's rushes as well as the finished product. Something just to be aware of, folks. So, working with children. If you are working on a set that has children, all cast and crew must hold a valid working with children check. It can be a volunteer or an employee check. A volunteer one is free and relatively easy to apply. And all those productions will be reviewed by the VCA. Now, Lubes, you've had me before as a student, so you always know to expect the unexpected. So, during the break, when Luby was talking about me having Felix time, I spent a little bit of Felix time to work on a cameo raffle. So, student filmmakers, this one's open to you. If you want to win a Luby, okay, if you want to win your own film cameo with Stephen Luby in your short film, you can. All you have to do is send your script and any creative material to movies-money@unimelbourne.edu.au. And the winner will be announced next week. Yeah, that's what I spend my time doing, making these slides. So, folks, if you're interested in having your own scholarly cameo, that is now a real possibility. But Lubes, I obviously sourced these from the internet. Do you want to give us a little bit of an insight here about your acting days?
I knew you'd pull a stunt like that on me. Jeez. I suppose I've got to go with it now, do I? You're going to have to. So, okay. I'm prepared to volunteer if anybody wants me in their film. I did play a role in a film once upon a time in the film Crackerjack 20 years ago, and I was the stunt double for a character called Wayne Hollywood Alcott. That was me as the stunt double. I didn't actually play the role. I was on set in that costume with the sunscreen on my nose for about 30 seconds. Somebody grabbed a still of it. That's the comedian Mick Malloy, who was the star of the film in the background. That was the last acting gig I did. So I'm not particularly good, but I'm happy to volunteer myself as an extra. So please feel free to come and approach me in the foyer afterwards. But I do come with the T-shirt. And just to... I knew this was going to happen. So that's been sitting in my wardrobe for 20 years. I pulled it out tonight and I'm happy to put it on at any point for anybody's film. So now that you've made enough fun of me, Felix, I'm going to hand back to you.
I got to be really clear, Luby did not bring that for this stunt. We didn't rehearse that. He actually always has that in his bag, ready for this moment. But Lubes, thanks for taking that in good spirits there, mate. So, it's almost time for the meet and greet. Shortly, you're going to be welcome to join our student filmmakers out in the foyer to mingle, to meet and greet. And I encourage you, of course, to meet all students, maybe not just this specific project you're interested in getting involved in. Feel free to meet them all. Now, we did mention Jessica Mitchell, our lecturer here, and Katie Bradley, our screen coordinator. I'm not going to ask you to come up on stage, though. I'm not going to do that. But they're going to be available during the intermission, or rather this break when you're mingling. If you have any questions relating to production parameters, policy here at the VCA, they are best to answer those questions. So we're going to be here, we're going to be hanging around while you're outside mingling, should you have any questions. Or hey, maybe you just want to come up and give us a high five. I'd welcome that too. So when you leave, we are going to give the students a head start. Probably know why, so they can get out to the foyer before you and you can find them. And before we wrap up, I'd just like to thank everyone here for a wonderful evening. I'd like to thank our students for being amazing at your pitches. Please give them a round of applause. Everyone, thank you for attending the VCA pitching night. I've been your co-host, Felix Orion. This is Stephen Luby. And thank you and good night.